Ask and you shall receive.
You, Karen. Or John.
You're welcome.
All right, well, since it's after 5, go ahead and get started. And let's see, Brandon and Kyle, and is Ron going to join us, John?
No.
Okay. All right. All right.
May I ask a question?
Mhm.
Will Ron generally join us? We were talking about meeting in person, and I said I want to make sure that Ron can join us. So
If we move the meetings to the daytime, sure.
okay. So what I'm hearing is Ron will not be joining us.
Generally not, no.
Okay.
Okay.
So that Kyle, where are you these days?
I am in Iowa.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't be able to make an in-person for the next probably month at least.
Wow, that doesn't look like Iowa, Kyle.
No, this is one of our cool aquarium backdrops. It's kind of my standard there when it, but I do have a photo of the farm. That's where I'm at.
Oh, that's
cool.
beautiful.
Wow.
Oh,
So
nice.
Wow.
They farm corn and soybeans on the property. It's really lovely. Super hot right now, like 95, 100, closing in 100 degrees most days, and humid. It's a real summer
Oh.
experience. Yeah.
It's absolutely beautiful hair, Kyle.
Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. Keep telling me about how cool the sea breeze is. and-
Yes, it's sunny, but you know.
It's sunny and cool.
Come on, you guys, it's been horrible. The
Yeah.
sunsets have been awful. The weather's been horrible. Yeah, you're not missing anything.
Oh, great. Good. That's what I like to hear.
All right. Public comments. I'm just going to do this because I always like to try and check all my little boxes. General public comment must deal with matters subject to the jurisdiction of the city and the council that are not on the agenda. Anyone wishing to address the Parks and Recreation Committee on matters not appearing on the agenda may do so now. The public may comment on any other matter listed on the agenda at the time the matter is being considered. There will be a time limit of not more than 3 minutes for each speaker. No action will be taken on matters brought up under this item, and all comments will be referred to staff. All right, next item, our recap of our park celebration. Denise, you were there. Do you want to give any?
I was there. It was really nice. It was nice. All the groups together. Sustainable Delray Oaks was there, and who else?
Us.
HAG and
Mhm.
us, and Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District, and Monterey One Water, and yeah, it was a great turnout.
How many
And
people were there?
handprints on the bathroom, and we missed you, Allison.
I missed you too.
And yeah, it was nice to have everyone together. Great
Yeah. How
day.
did the turnout? Did it pick up? I left, fairly early. So did it start to get busy, or is it pretty low key the whole time?
No,
I
think
thought it was great.
yeah, it looked pretty for a little bit more people than the usual just ice cream social from what I remember in years past.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So it's good.
Yeah, once the sun came out, it really picked up.
Oh, that's good.
Was it like an open house where people came and went kind of
Yeah.
thing? That's
Yeah.
nice. Perfect.
And I think, John, whatever time it was that we did the little ceremony, my husband walked back over from the bocce ball court and he said all the picnic tables were full
Yeah.
at that point. So that was a pretty, there were quite a few, and the kids were playing, and I think the turnout was really good.
Mhm.
John,
Nicely done. Thank you,
John-
Jerry. Big thanks to
Oh,
Jerry
yeah,
and
that's
John
right.
and Ron for,
Mhm.
well, Denise was the bocce ball queen.
Was
Oh,
she?
stop. No, I was sitting there talking to Scott the whole time. No, it was great. No, yeah. No, it was nice to mingle and chat with some folks, and yeah, good times.
Good.
Bocce courts are very nice.
They are. So
Nice.
segue, there was an email that one of the, I was hoping Brandon would be here tonight.
I
One of
just
the,
texted him and he will not be joining us.
okay, one of the gentlemen who signed up for the bocce ball emailed the city and to find out what was going on with that. So we have a couple Xavier Martez and Charlotte. I don't know, Namey.
Hmm.
And then the Sidorkis,
The Doricks.
Sidorix, and then Ed Dodge.
Oh,
And Ed Dodge played a lot of games with my husband. So that's who we have that have signed up. And they just wanted to know, if we were going to try and, I mean, this is all we got. So trying to see if we would pick a time when everybody could go down and play. Allison, you had mentioned maybe doing bocce ball with the mayor or something.
Well, just to kind of pick a day of the week at 5:30, everybody just come down if you want. I was thinking bocce, but also I was looking to see if maybe somebody had some of those cornhole things, just something for people to start coming down at a regular time to kind of interact with people. I would be fine if it's Parks and Rec, but I'm also fine to, kind of announce it, just come join me. Whatever you guys think is
I think that's a great
easy.
way to get people down, at least initially, to kind of come use the facility and see that, and I think that would entice some folks who aren't just into bocce ball,
Yeah.
to come and participate.
These people, the first couple says Saturday or Sundays. Mr. Dodge said afternoon, and then the others didn't give a preference at all. So I think, Allison, that would be your choice, and then I can contact them just as a starting point.
So I'm thinking like Monday at 5:30, so after work.
Okay,
And I usually don't have evening meetings on Mondays,
okay,
but if you guys,
okay. I will,
and
you and I can talk about it too afterwards and just get more logistics as far as when you think you want to start, and then I can email these people.
Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing was, we only had 2 people sign up for emails. Nobody signed up for classes. I just couldn't be at the table talking to people about it. And so I think that really fell through the cracks because I was up doing the handprints with the kids pretty much the whole time. So unfortunately, we didn't get as many signups as I was hoping that we would have gotten on any of the signups, but that's okay. And other than,
Could we maybe include that as like an option in the next email from you, Mayor Kerr? Just saying we're trying to solicit interest in some of these classes. Was it signing up for particular classes or to offer?
no, if they wanted to offer a class. We just were trying to reach out versus just the survey that we did, just another avenue to see who might want to, do a class. And also the bocce ball, of course.
Sorry, what are we talking about?
We were still talking about the parks.
The park. Do we, how do you feel about having a class at this point? I mean, it's only the beginning of August. Our best weather comes in September and October. What do you guys think?
Well, I think, John, are we still waiting to find out the logistics and how we can offer classes legally? Wasn't that being looked at?
If that's the direction we want to go, yeah. If we're going to have an actual city-run recreation program with classes and stuff, then I'm gonna have to run that by our insurance carrier and by the city attorney for any legal issues. Because anytime we do something that's an actual city sanctioned event, if somebody shows up and cuts themselves with scissors, that's a liability for the city.
The first class will be knife juggling.
Right.
There you go.
For kids.
For kids. Yeah, great.
Yeah, so it's not, other cities do it. It's not anything that's hard. It's just there's
Okay.
a process that we have to go through.
Well, and we
Okay.
just we haven't.
Yeah.
We've always relied on Citizens Action Group.
Right.
So,
Okay, so you could maybe ask them to think about what we would need to do. You know, even like I think you and I were talking, even to just have Patrice offer a creative writing class, we still have to have the legal department and the city, I mean, have everything, our ducks in a row, right? Even though that's a low risk of anybody being hurt type thing. Okay,
Yeah, but if
Okay.
it's something that we're using, if it's something that's sanctioned by the city and we're using city facilities for, a writing class, somebody's not going to get injured, but if they walk out of the class and trip over the, whatever.
Right, right.
Or they fall back in a chair or something,
Okay. And I mean, and honestly, looking at the classes that people have offered, I think there was some gardening type potting things. I mean, there was nothing.
High risk.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
My brain is all over the place today. But we could get them a list too, just so that they knew what types of classes we were talking about, if that would help also for them to
or
look at it.
perhaps we could flip it on the other side and say, what classes should we not be even, entertaining? Because they will know where that boundary is, I would think.
So maybe step back a step. So is there somebody who's going to manage this whole thing, or have we kind of got there yet? Maybe kind of figure out how the whole process is going to work and then see if it's even viable. I don't know if because I'm just kind of stepping back. Is there a cost if we have to research this with the city attorney?
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Is there a cost for the city attorney? Yeah.
Yeah. So anytime, yes, I figure if we have to ask them all these questions, so maybe our group kind of, here's our business plan almost, I guess,
Mm.
like how this is going to function with the city. Cause I don't know how much resources we can pull from the front office.
Yeah, it seems like fleshing out, like even surveying, like here are the options
Yeah.
of classes, and try to get a sense. We could do another quick, easy poll for residents maybe to see like what classes would you actually want to participate in, and whittle the list down to the top 3 that we might be
Right.
considering.
Or even how we're going to administer these classes, like who's
Yeah.
going to send emails, and if somebody has questions, who do they contact, and all that kind of the detail stuff, just to see if it's even viable, if we have the bandwidth and it's viable with the group,
John,
or who wants to lead it.
Well, if it's a council priority and the council wants to have a program like this, then yeah, we have the staffing to do that. It just means that I have to communicate with the council what things we currently do we're no longer doing, because we're not going to increase staffing
Right.
to be able to accommodate this. And
Uh-huh.
we're you all know we're dealing with limited staffing and limited
Right,
resources. So, and usually these things are held after hours when we don't have staff. The only staff we have here are police officers who have other duties to attend to. So if they're held during the day, that's different.
Man, it would be great to have all the activities. I just don't know who's going to run them and spearhead it.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we were just
Like
thinking
that.
of doing one a month for 2, like just to try one month and one another month. And I'm happy to help as far as whatever I can do logistic wise, but I think the point as far as legal
Mhm.
and the after hours key, part, like who is going to open the
Yeah.
facility and lock it and those
Right.
type of things.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I know I know we've rented out town hall for others to hold classes there, because the the first CAG meeting that I went to last September, we got kicked out because there was I think an Irish folk dancing class that was being held there. So it's not unheard of for us to do these types of things.
So if it wasn't city sanctioned, it's much easier. So if
Yeah,
you
well-
had just for instance, you had a resident who wanted to put on a class, and we said, okay, if there's a resident who wants to put on a class, you can use city Old Town Hall for it, and then they could run it.
Yeah, I would have to see.
I mean,
what kind
I
of
don't know.
paperwork we have in terms of
If I
them
may.
having to have their own insurance and.
Uh-huh.
notify the city and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, you still need to be covered.
right.
We were at one point we were talking about, there's a couple of classes. There's one that like somebody wanted to plant succulents. That doesn't need to be in in Old Town Hall. That could be either in the park, that could be at the butterfly garden. Now, granted, you still have the same liability and you still have the same kind of logistics. But it could simply, I think a lot of it will be kind of structured by whatever classes are whoever expresses interest and whatever we kind of choose to do, right? So I wouldn't do a really complicated one at first, or I wouldn't suggest that, and brown paper tickets, right? We can have the person be I'm happy to set that up and happy to, relay whoever signs up on that. You can do it for free. And then, the instructor will let us know. I mean, they should bring everything. So it's not like we have to set up, a teacher would do all of that. So I think if we had, 3 a week, yeah, that's too much. But I think 1 a month for 2 months, just for us to see the level of interest, who we have in town that may be interested in teaching, and also, how complicated does it really have to be? And everyone knows that the first 2 will be experimental. So I'm fine to, set up a brown bag event. That way the registration's all handled. Perhaps there's a link on the Parks and Rec Committee website, right? So there's a logical step, for us to be able to say, go to the city website, look at Parks and Rec, and you can register from there. But once inside the brown bag tickets, City Hall does not have to deal with that. So,
Yeah.
Well, then that's good.
yeah.
The
And then
city of
I can-
Monterey's- the
I'm
city of
sorry?
The city of Monterey's Parks Director happens to be a Delray Oaks resident, so I'm gonna reach out to her because, they have a robust Parks and Rec program that's managed by the city, but that's staffed, but they also have community centers in a lot of the parks where they have after-hour programs that aren't necessarily city programs, but are, run by teachers or run by different
But
groups.
there's,
And
yeah,
so
I think
there's a way to do that.
I think they're still administered by the city though, right? Because I know all the rec centers have a director who kind of
Yeah.
oversees everything that goes on in there.
But she can point us in the right
Oh,
direction.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's a good first step.
Thank you,
Mhm.
John. Okay, so maybe by next meeting, we can have a little more, have some answers on what we can do and what's viable.
Okay.
Stop. Sorry, my dog is whining. Every time I get in a meeting, she decides to whine. All right, thank you all. All right, Kyle, any updates on a possible movie night?
I do have an update. So I'd reached out to Rick and Bill to get some details from them about how they've handled it for Monterey before. Bill responded and said that he is more of just kind of a tech guru, that he could help us in some ways, but he hasn't been like deeply involved in the Monterey stuff in the past, I guess. He's willing to help, but he's also going to be performing at the Forest Theater until mid-September. So he's not really available to kind of field anything new until then, but he's like, if he can help, he will help. So I can touch base with him once the plans firm up.
So everybody knows, I connected Kyle with Rick Johnson and Bill Cronin. to actually be kind of the more, the brute force behind things. You know, he does a lot of staging and things like that. And I thought he would be helpful to have kind of behind the scenes. So that way everybody knows who's who. In the group.
Yeah, I should have prefaced that with who they were. Yeah, so I'm still waiting to hear back from Rick. But in the meantime, I went ahead and just started looking around for providers of that hardware that we would need to actually put that on, and what kind of money are we expecting to expend? Because I don't know if Monterey has a screen and all the electronics and the sound system and stuff to let us use. And if we had to pay for it, there's a company called Funflix. They're based in San Luis Obispo, I think, and this is all they do is set up like movie or provide hardware and one person to support, like a technician to come and hook everything up for us. So I got a quote, just an online, form that I filled out for a 16-foot by 9-foot screen. There's a whole bunch of different sizes depending on the size of the audience. They recommended that for like about 250 people. They have much smaller ones if it's a couple of families. And I don't know if we're going to get 250. I'd be surprised if that many people came out. But just given the size of the space we're putting it up in, that was kind of the medium option. And then just go crazy from there. It includes projection equipment, sound and cables, one trained host, and I even threw in a popcorn machine that they will bring with the hardware if we want it. I think that's like $75 to have that included, but I thought that could be fun. The grand total for all of that is $1,085. That includes the delivery fee because they have to drive a few hours to get it to us. That's at $199 additional dollars, depending on the distance we are from their hub. So $1,085, which is more than our yearly budget. So I don't know if without Monterey's, if they don't have equipment that they could lend us, if movie night is just out of the question for this year, because we didn't plan ahead enough to throw it in this late. But that's, if we had to pay for it, that's about what it would cost, probably about $1,000. So what do people think about that? And I can forward this quote to the group if that's helpful.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Okay.
Well, maybe, hopefully Monterey will get back to you, or Rick Johnson, and
Yeah, I asked the mayor to nudge him for me because I'd followed up a few times and not heard anything.
He recently retired.
I was going to say
so I don't know if
there was an article in the Coast Weekly about him retiring,
really?
so maybe he's enjoying.
Yeah, maybe he's enjoying it.
Yeah,
He doesn't want to jump right back into movie nights right now. But yeah, it may be that we may need a little bit more time. That we have, about 2 months now to get this dialed in. But I don't know if there's any other people at different jurisdictions I should touch base with that might have this sort of equipment that we could borrow. But if you know of anybody, or if any of the schools might, I don't know.
Yeah, our school has done it. I will double check with the PTO moms tomorrow.
Okay.
And see who they've used. Obviously, we don't own it.
Yeah.
But I can see who they've rented through or where they've gotten it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking like white sheet.
Yeah.
Bring your own popcorn. No, I was thinking we did an outdoor movie a couple years back with a friend's machine. I'm trying to think of who it was, and it wasn't super great, but it worked.
Right.
Yeah.
It's rustic.
So
I mean, with technology these days, even just one of those fold up school screens, even if it's just like a big screen TV with a projector and a Bluetooth speaker and somebody's computer, we could get a good enough setup for the
absolutely.
two dozen people that show. But even that, I don't know if I have a resource for those items either. So
If we're going rustic, I might let me do a little sleuthing, see if I can find a machine.
okay.
There's also a 20-foot screen, inflatable screen that I just found on Amazon for $150.
Woo!
Okay, that works.
That we can afford. And look
Yeah.
at, we're not doing classes, we're just doing movies.
Yeah.
Works.
That's
great.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think.
How does it come with a pump or?
It's all by mouth. It's gonna take us 2 days.
It's part of the fitness program.
That's what the training will be like. The craft night will be just inflating the screen.
That's funny.
It says it comes with a carry bag, a blower.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
And how big is it, John?
It says it's 20 feet. Let's see.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
I'll throw a link to the similar thing, similar price in the chat.
Okay.
Looks, I mean, ratings.
Oh,
are
was that
decent,
what? Okay.
And there's different
Uh,
sizes.
Not bad ratings, actually.
Yeah, so it's 20 feet from corner
Oops.
to corner. So it's actually, the screen is 12.5 feet by 7 feet.
Oh, that's
Ah.
good. Okay.
That's plenty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we
12 and
just
a half
need
by
a
7?
projector.
Yeah, 12.5 by 7.
Okay.
And I'm sure there's other options for different
Mhm.
sizes. I just
Cool.
Googled that really quickly just to see what was out there. So we can
That's great.
something that could work. Because I think, you know, I used to have to attend those movies in the park with Rick to help get them set up and stuff. And I don't know recently, but when they got started, that's what they had. They had an inflatable screen that I think somebody had for doing movie nights in their backyard, and they borrowed that.
Right.
It's a great start. Yeah, it's a much cheaper option. If we can get a projector and speakers, and we're set. you
Yeah.
know, that's all we need.
So
Hmm.
projector. So Jerry has some speakers. I don't know what kind of projection is necessary, but he has speakers. They're big, old fashioned, big ones. So,
Good.
and a microphone, right? So Kyle, you can welcome everyone.
Oh, great.
Nice.
So Denise, what was it that you were gonna try and track down? Was it projection?
A projector. Yeah.
Oh,
And
great.
yeah.
Okay.
And
Right.
I have speakers as well.
Okay, wonderful.
Well, we might be set. Okay.
And I used to have a popcorn machine at work that I was looking for. I couldn't find it easily, but I'll take a look.
We used to have movie nights at ISM, and the movie theater at PG would donate the popcorn. But I don't know if they would donate it for,
That's
The
great.
city. Hmm.
yeah, for the city. And that
All
was
we
years.
really need is a table with a microwave on it. We could have bag popcorn, just pass it out to everybody. That's not hard to do. Could be very old school for the first round.
Oh,
See if
that's a hoot.
Yeah.
You just run an extension cord from Old Town
from
Hall.
City Hall. Yeah, John can just pass. the
No,
cord
I
over
think
the-
there's actually outlets down there depending where we do it.
Yeah, there are outlets down there.
Yeah.
We were thinking about doing it on the end by City Hall.
Oh,
rather than
that's
the
On
right.
the
other.
bottom side, on the bottom
Mhm.
side.
That's a good idea because it'll protect it
Yeah.
from the wind too. We don't want the screen like wobbling around too
Right.
much.
And we want to be sensitive of the people on that side of Angeles.
The neighbors, yeah.
Yeah, and it's an easier walk for everybody from our side, and
Okay.
that's
All right.
great.
That is great. So,
So can everyone get like their updates to Terry?
Yeah.
And then she'll know what's next.
yeah, and then if, because even if we decide that we want to purchase the screen, we can do that next meeting. It still gives us a month. You
Mhm.
know, Amazon will be here in 2 days, so I'm not, but it's the projector maybe that is
Mhm.
kind of the key piece. And then also too, in the meantime, Kyle, if you do get a hold of Rick Johnson,
Yeah, I will let you.
just
I
in,
will-
just as a just to see.
I will let you know. And
John?
then by next meeting, we should probably have like, a sense of like, do we have all the equipment and what
Mhm.
movie do we want to play? And we should get
Right.
a flyer or an
Yep.
an APB out ASAP so that people can plan to attend if they'd like to. Because that gives us about a month to recruit
Yeah.
an audience.
What is the potential date again?
September 30th is what we said. Is that right? Let me
The
double
day
check
before
again.
the fall festival.
Yeah, so it's a Friday
Okay.
night.
That's right.
Yeah, September 30th. Yep.
Does anyone have a suggestion for a movie?
What is
I-
family friendly?
Yeah, I would think
I
it would
don't follow
have to be
family friendly
friendly,
movies.
Yeah. No slashers or don't
Jaws.
go to the park.
Oh, no, see, we saw Jaws on our movie night. That was super fun, but I don't think that would work. Um,
Scare the bejeebies.
no, you know what?
Okay, everybody's homework. You
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
two movie ideas to the next meeting.
Great.
Getting
Perfect.
close to
Okay.
Halloween, so I would say Ghostbusters.
Oh,
The,
Oh,
the
the
original.
original.
The original.
I like that. The original.
that's a pretty good
Ghostbusters.
one.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's good. That's good.
All right, good. John, done. We don't have to do our homework.
That's a good one.
That's all it took.
All
One
festival,
suggestion.
right?
That was easy.
Great.
So Kyle, can you find it? Ghostbusters, should we?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be available. I mean, we all have like Amazon Prime or
Okay.
Netflix subscriptions or HBO Plus or whatever. It'll be on somebody's account. We could just log in with the computer, and
Super.
I don't know if there's
Okay.
like, if technically like you're supposed to use a Netflix account to
No.
share a movie to an audience, but
Well,
we won't
it's just, we
advertise
just,
that part.
We're not asking for money.
no.
That's
And
true.
we're having our families coming over and we're all going to watch a movie. It just happens
Good
to be
point.
out in the park and our family's grown a lot. So
Yeah,
But
I
we
don't think
could have a donation jar.
okay.
I'm sorry, Denise, you were.
Oh, no. I was going to say it's going to be completely legit. We don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yay. All right, next item was consider creating a subcommittee to explore options and feasibility of establishing a community garden. Mayor Kerr, do you want to talk about that, since this is kind of something you brought up to my attention?
Sure. So looking at the results of the survey, we've accomplished actually quite a bit with the park reopening. The bocce ball courts, knew this, knew that. And it seemed to me that the last item, or not the last, there were others, but another of the high level items was a community garden. I was talking to Denise the other night, and when things come to me, that usually means they need some attention. And there's a local organization that is trying to pull together all of the community garden points of contact for the peninsula to come together to talk about lessons learned, perhaps share resources, help new things get going. And so I just wanted to throw this out there. Obviously, it would take a lot more work than what we just did for a movie. And Denise has done one, a very big one. And there were a couple of people, there were a couple of young women in the Oaks that were very interested. And Kyle, I believe your wife was as well.
Mhm. And our neighbors mentioned it. Cheryl and
Oh,
Jed were very
nice.
excited about it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when Denise and I were talking, it was, Denise, I don't want to talk for you, but
No.
we really need some strong leadership. This would be a big project, and we wouldn't want it just to go fallow in a couple of years. So one idea would be to gather like an ancillary committee to look at what's involved. And I would really hope that Denise could be a part of that because of her experience, or, however you want.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to see how people felt about that. John and I have been talking about possibly using the Rosita Triangle. There is water close. So we have land and we have water, which are the two biggest starting points. So I just wanted to see how everybody thought about it.
Denise, how are you
So-
feeling about that?
Oh, well, I think it's a fantastic idea. The one thing that is really needed is to have a garden coordinator who's going to see it through and kind of and you know dedicate themselves to spearheading it and some time, because keeping it going and all the coordination, it's pretty involved. So I think getting a kind of ahead and then have that person grab the people they want and they can spearhead how they think it should be done. With some input for sure.
So my question is, what is our role as far as Parks and Rec and having a subcommittee? What is like,
Well,
just
I
that,
think find out who's going to spearhead it, and then definitely have part of this committee as in it as well. But find who's going to spearhead this thing. I think that's going to be the number one thing, and then kind of take it from there and let them take charge.
yeah,
I think they come to the meetings and provide updates. And
right.
And I would love to be a part in the beginning at least. And then we go from there. But I agree. I think we need the maven.
Yeah, you need the maven, and you know what, I'd be more than happy to be a part of it. But
You
yeah,
heard it here.
I love to be a part of it. I don't have the bandwidth to spearhead it though.
Totally understand.
Yeah.
Terry,
Could that,
Kyle, go ahead.
yeah, could that be something that Mayor, that you include again in the next email? Is it like a request or a mentioning that's on the horizon, and we'd love someone who's really interested
Or
in
what
helping coordinate that work?
Well, I wouldn't put the coordinator piece out there yet. Say who's interested, come and have a meeting, and then kind of feel out the
Yeah,
people.
that's a great idea.
And then who's there? Ask for someone to lead this whole thing. That's step 2.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah. John,
Yeah, so, this is just in the planning stage, so
Yes.
this is just developing plans and anything, because then it needs to come back to this body for input, and ultimately it's gonna have to go to the city council for their buy-in and approval.
Right.
Yeah, but one thing that might be good for this group is to go around and with the group that the mayor was talking about and actually visit some of the community gardens around the area just to see what they look like and what they tell. Maybe that's for the subcommittee, I don't know, but just to see what all is involved in doing a community garden, because it requires a lot of maintenance and
and that's my concern. So I did one at international school, and we got a $45,000 grant from Monterey Peninsula Regional Park District, and so I spent all the money, and it was great. And I volunteers every Saturday for a year to put the thing together, and the whole school used it for a good couple years, and then it went foul.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't keep up, and so that's my it's great the energy you have in the beginning, and then it's just kind of keeping it going. Yeah.
Same thing happened in my brother's neighborhood. They had a park, and for 2 years everybody loved it, and then after that it just got overgrown because people stopped coming. And
so you really need to, and as long as you have somebody working on it. And there were Saturday work days at the school, and then so I would go every Saturday after the fact, and then you had extra people helping with that. So it does take kind of a village.
And pumpkins and zucchini will eventually take over everything.
Yes.
If they're not trimmed.
And you have a lot. Yep. But no, it's fantastic. It was wonderful and a great thing. And I think having it front and center on Rosita is a great idea, because you're going to go by it and it's easily accessible and things like that. And if the Oaks, I would think they would want it more than anybody, because they don't have yards.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's anywhere closer to them, like within walking distance. Well, it is walking distance.
We have a hillside, and Scott and I have, we're renegade gardeners right now. We have
guerrilla gardeners.
Guerrilla gardeners.
Yeah.
we have tomatoes and the peppers and a kombucha squash and pumpkins out on the hillside, because the homeowners association isn't doing anything, so
Why
we're not doing anything with the hill. We figured, why not? So we have it, but yes, nobody else here has it, except for their decks, has any type of gardening. So
But yeah, no, I think it's an interesting project for sure, or prospect.
So I'm happy to put something out. I can run it by Terry and or John before it goes out. Or if you want to write something, Terry, and get it to me, or however we want to do that. I'm happy to do that.
Okay. And then should we invite them to our next meeting? Like, or is it better just a one-on-one phone call? Whoever replies.
Are we going to have a discussion about the next meeting, John?
Oh, yeah, we are, because that's coming up.
Okay.
Okay, we can table that for now then.
Okay.
Okay. All right, and now, anything else, Kyle, that you would like to share? Is there anything else that's come up for you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, and Denise?
No,
Okay, so John and Mayor Kerr, next meeting, I will let one of you discuss that.
John.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the next meeting or if we want to have a special meeting, but the mayor and I have both talked with Tamsi about coming and talking about the design elements of Fortag
cool.
and what the options are in terms of style of design.
Mhm.
And so depending on what kind of community involvement we get, that could be our entire meeting. So that's why I was suggesting maybe a special meeting just for that, where we only agendize that. But I've talked with Mike at Tamsi. It sounds like September is doable for them, so they can kind of give us an overview of where the project is, what
Ooh,
the
that'd be fantastic.
timeline is, and then talk about some of the design elements and get input from the community.
Well,
It'll be
There's not,
broad,
yeah,
not specifics.
there's not, we're not talking the route. We're not talking any of that. It's literally, when I talked to Mike, he was talking about having some drawings made up, and we could start like at Safeway and look at that area. Illustratively, that's not a word, but, and then the tennis court area, and then the underpass and or the Carlton. And so we would walk, we would look at the different items and then come back. And I don't know if you guys have ever been a part of this kind of a process, but you take like little sticky circles and you say, oh, I like modern, or I like rustic, or I like industrial, and they will have items there. So, and we just thought that having it tied to Parks and Rec at this stage of the game makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense to me too.
so why don't you find out what a good date for them would be? And we can have a separate meeting.
Yeah, and I want to talk with Mike about, how they see it, going, because this is their project, it's their
Right.
stuff. So I want to see,
Yes,
how they see, working with the community on this and how much time they expect it to take and everything. And then Terry, you and the mayor and I could probably talk about, do we want to have a special meeting, or do we think we can handle it with our regular meeting?
Yeah.
I think I mean, my gut says a special meeting, just because I think it's going to be much more, it's not going to be just us.
Right.
If it's advertised, there will be a lot more people, which means a lot more opinions. So I
Oh,
think,
people are interested. Yeah, very cute. Yeah.
Yeah.
so I think a special meeting would probably be best, so that then our September meeting, we can just make sure we have everything in line for our movie night and whatever else comes up between now and then.
Right.
So if you just find out what's going to work for them, that would be great. And
Mike-
I'm sorry, there's 3 different designs that they're looking at right now, as far as aesthetics.
Don't quote me on those.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
not really sure either.
Okay,
He was originally aiming for the first week of September, which is where this idea kind of came from. So we may want our special meeting the week after that or something.
okay,
So
the week
based
before.
on-
Or
based on what-
actually before, if we wanted to get the movie night in, right, the first week of October, maybe do the,
Because August 31st is a Wednesday. That's, our meeting would be on September 7th. That's the
Mhm.
first Wednesday.
Okay.
So we could have our meeting instead on the 31st if they decide they want to do theirs on the 7th.
Okay.
But we can, to be determined.
Right.
Whatever is good for them. I'm excited.
Yeah, it'll be nice to see what kind of garbage cans we would get and bike racks and, and
So then we don't have to go paint them.
the project won't happen for at least 2 years.
Oh, I guess
So
we're
we
gonna,
may want to paint the garbage cans.
we may want to paint ours, yes. Okay. All right. All right, that's great. John, was there anything else as far as an update from you?
No. Just the painting the garbage cans is gonna be more involved than you guys think, because they already have lacquer on them, so they have to be sanded if they're gonna be painted. So I say we live with them for a year and a half, and then we replace them.
Or we could do an experiment and see what happens if we did paint them, how it's gonna look.
oh, what about the arts committee? They can take it over.
They could.
Yeah,
So far it's Terry, Jerry, and I.
there you go.
Terry, Jerry, and I are your artists.
There has to be some artists out there.
Well, there are.
We
It's
just want them covered with paint, But
We're
anyway,
gonna call you guys the tag committee,
yeah,
Terry, Allison, Jerry.
yeah.
Oh,
Terry and I are a little faster than Jerry, so
you guys did a fantastic job, by the way, on the bathrooms.
did
Looks
you
great.
like it?
I do. It looks so, it's super cute.
Yeah,
Well,
I saw
Beatty-
Jerry down there. He's a workhorse. Don't sell him short.
Oh, he is a workhorse and he'll be there until it's done, but he is on his own time. So we were talking about having a slogan up above, so that, there's a lot of white space. So
Mhm.
have something like, when
Mhm.
life gives you a choice, always choose kindness or something.
Is that- did I send you some that we had at school?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say,
Or our future is in good hands.
sponsored by.
Oh, no.
So anyway,
Sponsored by CNH Sugar.
yeah. Well, it's a bunch of little
That's pretty
kid
funny.
hands.
It
So
was very sweet.
yes, yes.
Allison, did you have anything else that we haven't talked about?
The only thing also kind of tied to garden ideas is I had a conversation with a gentleman who lives in town, and his wife every year, I love this idea. For her birthday, in lieu of gifts, they go somewhere and they plant trees. And so my brain started going, and I'm thinking, why not some fruit trees near on Rosita? Right? To then you tie into a community garden, and there's, Denise knows this. I have this vision of beautiful, springtime blossoms and, for that area. I mean, it's like half the city sees that at least twice a day, I would think. So that was the only thing. They haven't confirmed, but I have a birthday coming up. I would love that idea.
So as the staff, if it's part of a community garden, that's great. But, we all remember in the 70s and 80s, cities went around planting plum trees and, cherry plum trees and things like that, and spent the next 30 years cursing them and now taking them all out because they're a maintenance nightmare.
Exactly.
Dropping fruit all over the place if somebody's not picking the fruit.
Kyle, Would you
Yeah.
pick fruit?
We have a tiny little apple tree in our backyard that's like half gone, and it produces so many apples that we can't keep up with it. So it'd have to be like a full community. If we had good flourishing fruit trees out there, it would be like,
Right.
2 weeks of labor to kind of keep that maintained. Once I'm happy to be part of it, but we're gonna have bushels of fresh fruit to harvest every year.
Maybe we can work with the church.
Yeah.
Hmm, To
That would be
Do
feed,
they,
good.
to feed people.
do
Yeah,
they have a food pantry at this church? No.
Hmm.
Okay.
they're right there. Yeah.
No, but
We could turn
that would be a great partnership,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
you
We
know,
could spin it into like a pie baking competition too, with Del Rey Oaks fruit.
I mean,
Yeah.
right now, I'm actually hearing, I have a neighbor who has an apricot tree, and there's like 10 people that come and pick her tree. And I just heard about another one on Rosita. There was another apricot tree, and I got an email from Karen Harris saying, "Oh my God, these apricots are fabulous." So it is happening.
Yeah.
Good.
I know there used to be an app where you could say, I have an apple tree, and you could come between 10 and 2 and pick all you want, kind of thing. But
Yeah.
anyway, so I just like the idea of lining that with trees. Fruit
Mhm.
trees are always my first choice, but I'm totally fine with some other beautiful flowery,
Flowery trees.
yeah, something beautiful and scented, and Kyle, at one point, John said, how do you think the folks on that section of Rosita would feel about having a community garden? It sounds like you've talked to one neighbor.
Yeah, at least, our neighbors down the hill, Cheryl and Jed, are all about it. They're kind of backyard gardeners anyway, so having more space and everything would be, I wouldn't be opposed. Me and Megan would like the idea. It's kind of an underutilized space. I'm not sure about the rest of our neighbors, but I can't, I mean, it's not gonna do anything. It's not gonna create a ton of like activity every day. It's not going to be like hustling and bustling. It's just going to make it prettier and make the space useful. So I can't imagine anybody protesting, really.
You'd be surprised.
Maybe laying down in front of the equipment. No, I think at least 2 of the 6 houses or so are pro community gardens. So
Love it.
Nice.
All right. Anything else? We're good. And then, John, you'll let me know when we're going to have the Tansy meeting, and then we can decide when our meeting's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's great.
great.
Everybody has something to do, and to let
Okay.
Terry know.
Yeah.
I did just get a text from Cindy Matthews' mom and said, "I'm so sorry. We totally forgot first day of school. He will be there next month for sure."
Well, I'm hoping I can catch up with him in the next day or 2 and just check in and see how he's doing. I'm
Yeah.
excited that he's at our school now.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, have a lovely evening and a good few weeks ahead. And
Thanks,
that's
you
it.
too. Okay. Good
All right.
night.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Guys,
Thanks,
be safe out
everybody.
there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Night.